He sat in silence. No one noticed him, until the sergeant major entered, froze, and saluted. "Permission to speak, sir?" The room turned, eyes wide. Because when the highest rank bows, everyone listens. The conference room at the Veterans Administration Regional Office buzzed with typical bureaucratic energy as staff members prepared for another monthly meeting about benefit processing and administrative efficiency. Around the large table sat case workers, administrators, and supervisors who handled the complex task of ensuring that America's veterans received the support and recognition they had earned through their military service. In the corner sat an elderly man who appeared to be waiting for an appointment, his modest clothing and patient demeanor suggesting he was just another veteran navigating the VA system. Nobody paid particular attention to him as the meeting began. His presence was noted but not questioned. Veterans often waited in conference rooms when other spaces were unavailable, and his quiet behavior suggested he understood not to interrupt official business. To the busy staff members focused on their agenda items and case loads, he was simply background presence that required no interaction or special consideration from people dealing with hundreds of veteran cases each month. But appearances, as the room was about to discover, could be profoundly misleading. The elderly man sitting quietly in the corner carried credentials that would transform everyone's understanding of military hierarchy and the respect due to those who had served with extraordinary distinction in America's most challenging conflicts throughout the past half-century. Welcome to Silent Salute. Before we continue this incredible story, tell us in the comments from which city in the world are you watching this video today. And if you think stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button to support the channel. We're growing every day, and I sincerely thank you for being a part of it. Sergeant Major William Chun had been attending these VA meetings for 6 months as part of his transition to civilian employment with the Veterans Administration, where his military experience was being utilized to improve services for veterans navigating the complex benefit system. His role was primarily advisory, providing insights about military culture and veteran needs that could enhance the effectiveness of civilian administrators who worked with veteran populations. Chun had served 32 years in the Army, including multiple combat deployments and leadership positions that had tested every aspect of military service and personal dedication. His transition to civilian employment had been smooth, aided by his natural ability to work with people and his deep understanding of the challenges that veterans faced when seeking support from government institutions designed to serve them. The transformation in the room's atmosphere began when the conference room door opened to admit Command Sergeant Major Robert Martinez, the highest-ranking enlisted person in the regional military district, whose presence at VA meetings was rare but occasionally necessary when coordination between active military and veteran services required high-level consultation and institutional cooperation. Martinez entered the room with the confident bearing that marked senior military leadership, scanning the assembled civilian staff with professional interest as he prepared to discuss coordination issues between active military installations and veteran service organizations. But his attention was immediately captured by the elderly man sitting quietly in the corner, and his expression shifted dramatically. The recognition was instant and transformative. Martinez had served under the man in the corner during 2 deployments to Afghanistan, when Colonel James "Iron" Harrison had commanded the most effective counter-insurgency operations in the region, while earning a reputation for tactical brilliance and personal courage that had made him legendary within special operations communities. Martinez's response was automatic and appropriate, reflecting military training and genuine respect for someone whose leadership had shaped his own military career. He came to immediate attention, rendered the most precise salute of his career, and addressed the elderly man with the formal military courtesy due to someone whose service had exceeded normal expectations and whose presence commanded respect. "Permission to speak, sir?" Martinez asked, his voice carrying the authority of senior enlisted leadership, while demonstrating the deference appropriate when addressing a distinguished officer whose military achievements had influenced an entire generation of military personnel. The formality of his approach and the obvious respect he was showing to the elderly man created immediate tension in the room as civilian staff tried to understand what was happening. The transformation in the room's atmosphere was immediate and electric. Civilian staff members who had been ignoring the elderly man suddenly found themselves staring at someone who commanded the highest levels of military respect, as evidenced by Martinez's formal military courtesy and obvious recognition of the man's distinguished background and exceptional military service record. Colonel James Harrison's response was characteristically modest, acknowledging Martinez's salute while attempting to redirect attention away from himself and toward the business at hand. But the damage was done. His identity had been revealed to a room full of people who now understood they had been in the presence of military greatness without recognizing it. The stories that emerged painted a picture of military service that exceeded anything the civilian staff had encountered in their work with veterans. Harrison had commanded the most successful counter-insurgency operations in Afghanistan, developing tactical innovations that had saved countless American lives while establishing new standards for military effectiveness in asymmetric warfare environments. His Distinguished Service Cross had been earned during a battle in Helmand Province when his unit had been surrounded by insurgent forces. Harrison had personally led a counterattack that broke the enemy encirclement while coordinating air support that allowed American forces to complete their mission despite overwhelming odds. The Bronze Star with V device reflected his courage during a rescue operation when Harrison had voluntarily entered a building that was under enemy fire to evacuate wounded soldiers. His actions had saved 4 lives while demonstrating the kind of personal leadership that inspired exceptional performance from the soldiers under his command. But it was Harrison's post-combat innovations in military training that had truly distinguished his career. His development of new counterinsurgency techniques had been adopted throughout the military, influencing how American forces prepared for and conducted operations in complex environments where traditional tactics proved inadequate. The VA staff members realized they had been working alongside someone whose military expertise far exceeded their understanding of what military service could accomplish. Harrison's quiet presence at their meetings took on new meaning when viewed as the continued service of someone whose contributions to military effectiveness had shaped how American forces operated worldwide. Martinez's recognition of Harrison created a moment of institutional learning for the civilian staff, who gained new appreciation for the diverse backgrounds and extraordinary achievements that veterans might bring to civilian employment. Harrison's case demonstrated how distinguished military service could continue contributing to veteran support through civilian careers. The meeting that had been focused on routine administrative matters was transformed into an impromptu education session about military culture and the importance of recognizing veteran achievements that might not be immediately apparent to civilian colleagues working in veteran services. Harrison's willingness to share appropriate aspects of his military experience provided insights into veteran needs and military culture that enhanced the staff's ability to serve veteran populations effectively. His knowledge of military hierarchy, service culture, and veteran transition challenges proved invaluable for improving VA services. The respect that Harrison received from both Martinez and the civilian staff reflected their understanding that they were in the presence of someone whose military service had contributed significantly to American security while demonstrating the highest levels of military leadership and personal courage under combat conditions. The VA Regional Office incorporated Harrison's insights into training programs for civilian staff, using his military experience to enhance understanding of veteran needs and military culture. His knowledge of military service helped improve the quality of services provided to veteran populations seeking support from government institutions. The story of Harrison's recognition spread throughout the VA system, becoming an example of how distinguished military service could enhance civilian veteran services while demonstrating the importance of recognizing military backgrounds among civilian employees who might bring exceptional qualifications to their work. Military transition programs incorporated Harrison's experience into counseling for officers seeking civilian careers in veteran services, using his successful adaptation to demonstrate how military leadership skills could be effectively utilized in civilian government employment that served veteran populations. The Veterans Administration enhanced its hiring practices to better identify and utilize military expertise among civilian employees, understanding that Harrison's case represented broader patterns of distinguished military service that could enhance institutional capabilities while serving veteran communities more effectively. Congressional testimony about veteran employment included references to Harrison's case as an example of how military expertise could enhance civilian government services while providing meaningful career opportunities for veterans seeking to continue serving military communities through civilian employment in veteran-focused organizations. The training programs for VA employees were enhanced based on lessons learned from Harrison's military experience, with his insights about military culture and veteran needs improving the quality of services provided to veteran populations seeking support from government institutions designed to serve their needs. The psychological counseling programs for military personnel transitioning to civilian careers incorporated Harrison's story into discussions about finding meaningful post-military employment that utilized military expertise while serving veteran communities through civilian government service and veteran advocacy organizations. International conferences on veteran services featured presentations about Harrison's transition from military command to civilian veteran services, using his experience to demonstrate how military leadership skills could enhance civilian government agencies serving veteran populations worldwide. The VA's outreach programs to recruit military veterans for civilian positions were enhanced by Harrison's example, demonstrating how distinguished military service could contribute to civilian veteran services while providing meaningful career opportunities for veterans seeking post-military employment in veteran-focused organizations. Military leadership development programs incorporated Harrison's civilian transition into training about post-military career opportunities, using his experience to demonstrate how military skills could be effectively utilized in civilian careers that continued serving military and veteran communities through government and nonprofit organizations. The respect that Harrison earned from civilian colleagues continued throughout his VA career, as his military background provided credibility and expertise that enhanced his effectiveness in serving veteran populations while demonstrating the value of military experience in civilian veteran services. Years later, Harrison's recognition in the VA conference room was remembered as a moment that had demonstrated the importance of recognizing military expertise among civilian employees while showing how distinguished military service could enhance civilian veteran services through continued contribution to veteran support and advocacy. The VA office where Harrison worked became a model for integrating military expertise into civilian veteran services, with his experience providing guidance for recruiting and utilizing military veterans in civilian positions that served veteran populations seeking support from government institutions. The transformation in civilian staff attitudes toward military backgrounds was exemplified by Harrison's experience, as his recognition helped establish new standards for respecting military expertise while creating opportunities for distinguished veterans to contribute their skills to civilian veteran services. Harrison's story became a cornerstone example in discussions about veteran employment and the value of recognizing military expertise in civilian government service, demonstrating how distinguished military service could enhance institutional capabilities while providing meaningful career opportunities for veterans seeking continued service to military communities. The training innovations that Harrison had developed during his military service continued influencing military education and veteran services, with his techniques being studied and implemented by institutions serving both active military and veteran populations seeking support and advocacy from government and civilian organizations. The leadership principles that Harrison demonstrated during his military service were incorporated into management training for civilian government employees, using his experience to enhance leadership development while demonstrating how military expertise could improve civilian government effectiveness in serving veteran populations. The strategic thinking that Harrison brought to civilian veteran services influenced policy development and program implementation throughout the VA system, with his military experience providing insights that enhanced the effectiveness of services provided to veteran populations seeking support from government institutions. The mentorship that Harrison provided to younger VA employees became a formal program that helped civilian staff understand military culture while improving their ability to serve veteran populations effectively. His guidance enhanced institutional knowledge while honoring military experience and expertise. The recognition protocols at VA offices were enhanced based on Harrison's experience, ensuring that distinguished military backgrounds among civilian employees would be acknowledged appropriately while maintaining professional standards and institutional respect for military service and veteran expertise. Sometimes the most distinguished military leaders sit quietly in government conference rooms, contributing expertise that goes unrecognized until someone with military knowledge understands what they're seeing. Sometimes a simple salute can transform routine meetings into moments of recognition that honor extraordinary service while enhancing institutional understanding. Colonel James Harrison had simply wanted to contribute his military expertise to improving veteran services while transitioning successfully to civilian government employment, never expecting that his distinguished military background would be revealed through spontaneous military courtesy. When Sergeant Major Martinez recognized and honored his exceptional service, both men demonstrated how military tradition could enhance civilian veteran services while connecting distinguished military achievement to continued service in support of veteran communities. The comprehensive transformation at the VA regional office following Harrison's recognition extended far beyond individual acknowledgement to encompass systematic changes in how the institution approached veteran services, staff development, and the utilization of military expertise among civilian employees who brought diverse professional backgrounds to veteran support services. The VA's hiring protocols were immediately revised to better identify and utilize military expertise among potential employees. Understanding that Harrison's case represented broader patterns of distinguished military service that could significantly enhance institutional capabilities while providing meaningful career opportunities for veterans transitioning to civilian government service. Training programs for VA employees were substantially enhanced based on lessons learned from Harrison's military experience. With his insights about military culture, veteran needs, and institutional challenges, improving the quality of services provided to veteran populations seeking support from government agencies designed to serve their complex needs. Congressional testimony about veteran employment and government effectiveness included extensive references to Harrison's case as a compelling example of how military expertise could enhance civilian government services while providing meaningful career opportunities for veterans seeking to continue serving military communities through civilian employment in veteran-focused organizations and government agencies. The psychological counseling programs for military personnel transitioning to civilian careers incorporated Harrison's successful adaptation story into comprehensive discussions about finding meaningful post-military employment that utilized military expertise while serving veteran communities through civilian government service and veteran advocacy organizations throughout the country. International conferences on veteran services featured detailed presentations about Harrison's transition from distinguished military command to civilian veteran services, using his experience to demonstrate how military leadership skills could enhance civilian government agencies serving veteran populations worldwide while maintaining institutional effectiveness and professional excellence. The Veterans Administration's outreach programs to recruit distinguished military veterans for civilian positions were substantially enhanced by Harrison's inspiring example, demonstrating how exceptional military service could contribute to civilian veteran services while providing meaningful career opportunities for veterans seeking post-military employment in veteran-focused organizations and government institutions. Military leadership development programs incorporated Harrison's civilian transition experience into comprehensive training about post-military career opportunities, using his successful adaptation to demonstrate how advanced military skills could be effectively utilized in civilian careers that continued serving military and veteran communities through government and nonprofit organizations. The respect that Harrison earned from civilian colleagues continued throughout his distinguished VA career, as his extensive military background provided credibility and expertise that enhanced his effectiveness in serving veteran populations while demonstrating the tremendous value of military experience in civilian veteran services and government administration. The strategic thinking that Harrison brought to civilian veteran services influenced policy development and program implementation throughout the comprehensive VA system, with his distinguished military experience providing invaluable insights that enhanced the effectiveness of services provided to veteran populations seeking support from government institutions designed to serve their needs. The mentorship that Harrison provided to younger VA employees became a formal program that helped civilian staff understand military culture while improving their ability to serve veteran populations effectively. His guidance enhanced institutional knowledge while honoring military experience and demonstrating the ongoing value of military expertise in civilian government service. The training innovations that Harrison had developed during his distinguished military service continued influencing military education and veteran services, with his proven techniques being studied and implemented by institutions serving both active military and veteran populations seeking support and advocacy from government and civilian organizations throughout the country. The leadership principles that Harrison demonstrated during his exceptional military service were incorporated into comprehensive management training for civilian government employees, using his experience to enhance leadership development while demonstrating how military expertise could improve civilian government effectiveness in serving veteran populations with diverse needs and backgrounds. The recognition protocols at VA offices throughout the system were enhanced based on Harrison's experience, ensuring that distinguished military backgrounds among civilian employees would be acknowledged appropriately while maintaining professional standards and institutional respect for military service and veteran expertise in government service. The case studies developed from Harrison's experience influenced veteran employment policies throughout the federal government, demonstrating how distinguished military service could enhance civilian government capabilities while providing guidance for recruiting and integrating military veterans into civilian government positions that utilize their specialized expertise and leadership experience. Military medical programs studying the psychological impact of meaningful employment on veteran mental health incorporated Harrison's experience into research about how authentic recognition and purposeful work could provide healing and validation for distinguished veterans transitioning to civilian careers that continued serving military communities. The documentation of Harrison's military innovations was preserved in government archives, ensuring that his contributions to military effectiveness and veteran services would be remembered and studied by future generations of military personnel and civilian government employees responsible for serving veteran populations. Educational institutions studying military-civilian career transitions incorporated Harrison's experience into comprehensive research about factors that contributed to successful adaptation from military to civilian government service, using his case to develop best practices for veteran employment in government agencies serving military and veteran communities. The transformational impact of Harrison's recognition extended throughout the regional VA office and influenced practices at veteran service organizations nationwide, demonstrating how authentic acknowledgement of military expertise could enhance institutional capabilities while honoring the ongoing contributions of distinguished veterans to civilian government service. Years later, Harrison's recognition in the VA conference room was remembered as a transformative moment that had demonstrated the crucial importance of recognizing military expertise among civilian employees while showing how distinguished military service could enhance civilian veteran services through continued contribution to veteran support and advocacy. The VA office where Harrison worked became a model for effectively integrating military expertise into civilian veteran services, with his experience providing practical guidance for recruiting and utilizing military veterans in civilian positions that served veteran populations seeking support from government institutions with understanding of military culture. The legacy of Harrison's recognition influenced how government agencies throughout the federal system approached veteran employment and the utilization of military expertise in civilian government service, creating new standards for recognizing and honoring distinguished military service while enhancing institutional capabilities. The transformation in civilian staff attitudes toward military backgrounds was exemplified by Harrison's inspiring experience, as his recognition helped establish new institutional standards for respecting military expertise while creating meaningful opportunities for distinguished veterans to contribute their specialized skills to civilian veteran services and government administration. Harrison's story became a cornerstone example in comprehensive discussions about veteran employment and the tremendous value of recognizing military expertise in civilian government service. demonstrating how distinguished military service could enhance institutional capabilities while providing meaningful career opportunities for veterans seeking continued service to military communities. The research studying military culture and veteran transition incorporated Harrison's experience into analyses of how meaningful employment could enhance veteran adaptation to civilian life, while utilizing military expertise in ways that benefited both individual veterans and the civilian communities they serve through government and nonprofit organizations. The respect that Martinez demonstrated toward Harrison through spontaneous military courtesy became an example of how military tradition could enhance civilian work environments while honoring distinguished service that deserved recognition regardless of current employment context or professional circumstances. Sometimes the most extraordinary military leaders work quietly in civilian government offices, contributing expertise that transforms institutional capabilities while seeking no recognition for achievements that shaped military effectiveness during critical periods of national security challenges and international conflict. Colonel James Harrison had simply wanted to utilize his military expertise in meaningful civilian employment that served veteran communities, never expecting that his distinguished background would be revealed through authentic military recognition that honored his exceptional service while demonstrating how military tradition could enhance civilian government effectiveness. This story was brought to you by Silent Salute. Before we leave you today, here's our question. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's true qualifications were revealed through the respect they received from others who understood their significance? Have you witnessed how professional recognition can transform understanding and create new appreciation for hidden expertise? Tell us in the comments about times when authentic recognition revealed extraordinary backgrounds that had been hidden in plain sight. And if you think stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button to support the channel. We'll see you in the next one.